Seniors. I'm Francesca Swanson.
And I'm Leah Akamalafe. 2 more days till Thanksgiving break. We've got club info coming up, plus a look at the weather for the week ahead. But first, here's this day in history.
Here's a look at this day in history. November 16th.
On this day in 1973, U.S. President Richard Nixon signed a bill authorizing construction of the Alaska oil pipeline over protests from environmentalists. In 1988, Benazir Bhutto's party won parliamentary elections in Pakistan, making her the first woman elected to lead a majority Muslim nation. In 2000, Bill Clinton became the first sitting president to visit Vietnam. And on this day in 1532, Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro invited Inca Emperor Atahualpa to a banquet, and then ambushed the emperor and his entourage. Atahualpa refused to accept Spanish rule. He was taken prisoner, and not even a king's ransom of 24 tons of gold and silver could save him. And that's this day in history.
Here's the news. The Muslim Student Association Club are having a fundraiser during both lunches today and tomorrow this week. They are giving henna tattoos for students for $2 per small design. Come out at lunch today and tomorrow to get yours.
Key Clubbers, there's a meeting today after school in C103 in Miss Johnston's room. It's the last meeting before break, so be sure to come. Also, the Yoga Club meets today after school at Leap Yoga. And Interactors, there'll be an Interact meeting tomorrow after school in room A205. They'll be going over upcoming events and signups.
Does Folsom High have talent? Student government thinks so. There are 2 opportunities to audition for this year's talent show. Today after school at 3:30 in the multi, and tomorrow during both lunches in room A108. Come by and audition for this year's talent show.
Do you have any pairs of old glasses that you'd like to give to a good home? The GPS Club is collecting used eyeglasses for needy children in Africa. You can drop them off in Mr. Ware's classroom, IB 201, this week. And you can also start early on the holiday spirit with CSF by stopping in rooms A103 or C105 to adopt a family or individual tomorrow and Friday. All donations will be given to families living in Folsom as part of the annual Folsom Police Department Toy Drive.
A robotics event for middle and high school students is taking place this Saturday and Sunday, November 19th and 20th, and they are still looking for volunteers to help with announcing events, timekeeping, and running the AV system. This event will be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in Intel FM7 Cafe. If you are interested in helping out, please contact Mr. Rochford.
Feel like you need extra help in your world language? Great news! World Language Scholar Society offers free Spanish, French, and German tutoring every Monday right after school in World Language 101. Stop by after school on Mondays to get some free help.
Well, we had a tiny bit of rain yesterday, but it's mostly sunny again today.
Let's head over to the Weather Center with Amir to see what we'll have over Thanksgiving break.
Good morning, Folsom High. Going through the rest of the week is going to be partly cloudy except for Thursday and stay in the mid-60s with overnight lows in the 40s. Going through the weekend into Thanksgiving break, we are going to have highs in the low 60s and the high 50s. And this weekend, we're going to have a very high chance of rain. So get out your umbrellas out and back to you guys.
Thanks, Amir. Now in some college and scholarship news. Seniors, it's your last chance. The last college app workshop will be held in the library during pause tomorrow. Remember to bring your unofficial transcript copy. Students must have already started their college apps and have username and password. Sign up in Naviance to attend.
Juniors, if you have a 3.5 or higher, are active in community service, play a competitive team sport, and hold a student or community leadership position, you qualify to apply for the Semper Fidelis All-American program. If selected, you'll be able to participate in the Battles One Academy in Washington, D.C. this summer, as well as be eligible for scholarship opportunities. If you're interested, stop by and see Mrs. Castro in the counseling office for more information.
Representatives from Washington State University will be here tomorrow during pause. Come and learn about the college and get your questions answered. And look ahead to after Thanksgiving break. If you would like to become a firefighter, then come to hear a presentation from the Sierra College Fire Technology Program on Wednesday, November 30th in the Career Center during pause. Also, the Savannah College of Art and Design will be visiting on Thursday, December 1st. You can hear the presentations during pause in Ms. Thompson's room AC 105. Sign up in your Naviance account or in the counseling office.
The College Planning Center is holding an SAT practice test this Saturday, November 19th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the FHS library. The test costs $20 and all proceeds benefit FHS PTSA programs. Bring a check made out to FHS PTSA or cash on test day. No pre-registration is needed, but space is limited. Contact the College Planning Center for more information.
And remember, this Friday, our Bulldog varsity football team has a home playoff game against Sheldon at 7 p.m. in the stadium.
Come out and be part of the dog pack. That's all the news for today. Stay tuned now for some short films.
Shout out to Miss Messer's French 3 class. Remember, I bet you forgot about that quiz we have today, didn't you?
Let's make it a great day to be a Bulldog.
You've seen me roll for 100 G's, but I got a little more than dough riding on this one. They call you Lady Luck, but there is room for doubt. At times you have a very unladylike way of running out. You're on this date with me, the pickings have been lush. And yet before this evening is over, you might give me the brush. You might forget your manners, you might refuse to stay. And so the best that I can do is pray. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck let a gentleman see how nice a dame you can be. I know the way you've treated other guys you've been with. Luck be a lady with me. A lady doesn't leave her escort. It isn't fair, it isn't nice. A lady doesn't wander all over the room and blow on some other guy's dice. So let's keep the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby, I'm the fella you came in with. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck let a gentleman see how nice a dame you can be. How nice a dame you can be. I know the way you treated other guys you've been with. Luck be a lady with me. A lady wouldn't flirt with strangers. She'd have a heart, she'd have a soul. A lady wouldn't make little snake eyes at me while I bet my life on this roll. So let's keep the party polite. So let's keep the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, baby. Stick here, baby. You came in with luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. Luck be a lady. So will you, what's the matter over time? Coming out, coming out, coming out, coming out, right? Ha!
Every summer, 1,200 American men and women begin studying at West Point Military Academy. But before any of them see a classroom, they begin 7 weeks of basic training. And before the summer ends, a good portion of these cadets drop out. A group of researchers wanted to find out what characteristic was it inside of those cadets that made it, as opposed to the ones who dropped out. Was it physical strength? Was it athleticism? Was it intellect? Was it leadership ability, or just overall talent? And it turns out it was none of those things. The best predictor for success that they found was a characteristic called grit. Grit means having stamina. Grit means having passion. Grit means sticking to your long-term goals, not just for a day, not just for a week, not for a month, but oftentimes for years. It's almost like grit is that feeling inside of you that allows you to pick yourself back up after you fail. It's that thing that allows you to continue to move forward, even though it's difficult, even though it's hard. It's the reason that you wake up in the morning and say, I have to win today. I have to fight for this today. Grit has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with intellect. Grit has everything to do with mental toughness. Numerous articles and research papers have been done on grit, and they've concluded that grit is just as important, if not more important than talent when it comes to being successful. So you're probably wondering, how can we develop grit? Is it something you're born with? Is it something that you can learn? And the honest answer is, no one really knows. But what we do know is that grit isn't developed when life is easy. It's not developed when everything goes perfectly. It's developed when there's struggle. It's developed when there's adversity. Psychologists believe that there are 5 characteristics that help develop grit. The first characteristic is courage. And the reason courage is so hard to develop is because it starts when you're one step outside of your comfort zone. So if you want to develop grit, you've got to start with having a little bit of courage. That might mean going out for a new sport, trying out for a school activity you've never done before. It might mean talking to a kid in the halls that you pass every day, but you've never had the courage to actually say something. Sometimes courage is found when you stand up for people, whether that's online or in person. There are tons of ways to develop courage, but the first place courage starts is one step outside of your comfort zone. And the next characteristic is intentionality. I don't believe that grit is developed on accident. I think you have to be intentional about it. Intentionality means waking up every day with a plan, you have a goal, and you have to commit to that. Pick the tasks that are difficult for you. Pick the tasks that you don't like to do. Create a plan, set a goal, be intentional, and commit to it. And that's how you start to develop grit in your life. Another characteristic to help us develop grit is endurance. And what endurance means is you don't just start the race, but you finish, and you finish well. The only way to develop endurance is when you're tired, exhausted, you're worn out, you don't think you can go any farther, and then you push on, you commit, and you follow through. If you want to develop endurance in your life, find the areas where you're losing steam or having a hard time completing a task. So for you seniors, a great opportunity you have to develop endurance is don't let senioritis settle in. You've got an opportunity to make your senior year great. So commit to it, finish, and finish well. And the next characteristic we have to learn to develop is resilience. Resilience means you've got to get tougher. So when things get difficult and everything's not going your way, you've got to anchor down and you've got to push through. You don't quit. No matter how painful it might be, no matter how long it might take, you have to keep pushing through. This means you don't quit or give up at the first sign of failure. You don't let your past mistakes define you. You have the mental toughness and resilience to continue to push forward, and that's how you develop grit. And the 5th element we have to develop is the pursuit of excellence, not perfection. Let me break this down for you. You're not going to be perfect. A lot of people let the fear of not doing things perfectly hold them back from taking risks. Some of the most successful business people I know, they strive for excellence, not perfection. Because when you strive for excellence, you understand failure will be a part of the process. It's inevitable, it's going to happen. Striving for excellence allows you to develop grit to persevere and push through even when you fail. A person with grit understands that the world doesn't assert itself on you, you assert yourself on the world. That's why we love the underdog story so much. We love to root for the person that maybe doesn't have the talent, or maybe doesn't have the education, or maybe doesn't have the experience. We love watching people overcome obstacles. We love seeing people be successful in the face of difficult times. And the reason why is we love this idea of grit. So to all you underdogs out there, all you kids that haven't had life handed to you, those of you that have to struggle, those of you that have to fight for everything that you've got, those of you that have to work your way through high school to pay for the things that you need, keep going, keep pushing, keep fighting. Learn to develop those 5 characteristics, and I promise you, you'll develop grit. And the reason why it's so important is your grit is what the world needs the most.